The United States government just found $849 billion in free money hidden in an old accounting book. It sounds like a conspiracy theory, but it is actually the central pillar of a high-stakes secret plan to wipe out a debt that is threatening to swallow the global economy. This is the Great Revaluation Gamble, a radical shift in how the US dollar is backed that could either be a God mode save for the financial system or a total collapse of trust that changes your money forever. The problem is a ticking time bomb. The United States is more than $37 trillion in debt. Every single year, a massive chunk of your tax dollars isn't going to healthcare, infrastructure, or education. It is being diverted just to pay the interest on that mountain of debt. In 2025 alone, the government is expected to borrow $2 trillion just to keep the lights on. To fund this, the government has worked with the Federal Reserve to print money out of thin air, causing the inflation that is currently eating your savings. We have reached a breaking point where traditional borrowing is no longer enough, and that is where the gamble begins. Most people think this is just another political debate about spending, but they are wrong. They are missing the hidden accounting mechanics of the Federal Reserve's balance sheet. This isn't about saving money. It's about a high-stakes accounting maneuver designed to bypass the debt ceiling without borrowing a single extra cent. The first key insight is the gold revaluation. Right now, the U.S. holds 261 million ounces of gold, but on the official books, it's valued at a stagnant $42.22 per ounce, a price set decades ago. Think of it like the couch cushion analogy. Imagine finding a vintage toy in your attic that you bought for $1, only to realize it's now worth $3,000. Suddenly, your net worth spikes without you earning a new penny. By revaluing that gold to $3,300 an ounce, the Treasury finds $850 billion of spending power.
This isn't a theory. It has happened before. In 1934, FDR revalued gold to stimulate the economy after the Great Depression, creating billions in new spending power. The plan today is for the Treasury to give the Fed a gold certificate, basically an IOU for gold they refuse to sell, in exchange for cash to pay down debt or stimulate the economy. But gold is only half the story. Key insight number 2 is the strategic Bitcoin reserve. The U.S. government is quietly becoming the world's newest whale, holding up to 200,000 Bitcoins seized from criminal investigations. Instead of selling these coins off as they used to, the new strategy is to hodl them as a long-term investment. The government can use the same accounting trick here, pledging the value of this Bitcoin to the Fed for cash. If Bitcoin hits $1 million, that reserve could theoretically save the national balance sheet. The third key insight is the Genius Act, a law that could change everything you know about the dollar. This act allows for the creation of stablecoins pegged to gold or Bitcoin, acting as a parallel financial system to the traditional dollar.
But here is the twist that most creators won't tell you: the Federal Reserve risk. The Fed isn't actually a government agency. It's a private entity that lends money to the government. If the Fed accepts these gold and Bitcoin IOUs and the prices of those assets crash by 50%, the Fed's balance sheet goes underwater. When the entity that backs your currency is sitting on negative value assets, trust in the dollar could vanish. And when trust vanishes, massive inflation becomes the only exit strategy left. So, how do you protect yourself? This isn't financial advice, but the practical takeaways are clear. Real diversification is more important than ever. The government itself is diversifying into hard assets like gold and Bitcoin to hedge against its own debt. And savvy investors are doing the same by holding physical gold, Bitcoin, real estate, and stocks. We are entering an era of financial engineering, where the rules of money are being rewritten in real time. The government is placing a massive bet on hard assets to escape a $37 trillion hole. and your financial future may depend on which side of that gamble you are on. If you want to find hidden investment opportunities before this great revaluation hits the mainstream, click the link in the description to join our free investing masterclass and receive our market briefs.